So I just skated 45 minutes, no foot on the ground, pumping only. Feeling pretty good. Yeah, 14.4 kilometers, 19.2 km average. I started out a little bit faster, but yeah, I'm now settling into a more comfortable pace, at least comfortable for this setup. Yeah, I think I'm more of a fan of the 0 degree XLE rear so far, just because I can pump faster. It's annoying, of course, if you have to pump uphill. For that setting, of course, this is better. For a near flat setting like this is, with, you know, wind supporting you, also in the uphill direction, the XLE would have been way better. I have to add, I did a pump only marathon once. I think I kept over 20 km/h. At the Misfits Marathon it even went through rain, and that was just on a hybrid setup, you know, Precision speed, front MK space. I think in the rear I used the TTX, and yeah, if you look at Viola, for example, she can keep over 23 km/h pumping only. So I do think these setups are faster at once because, of course, of the 0 degree rear, but I also feel like because they are lower, essentially the higher you go, I feel like on a Topmount pumper, the more sideway motion the board makes, and the easier it is to make this sideway motion. So you basically have a bigger lift arm on your truck. So this makes it easier to pump on a long endurance, but it doesn't make it as fast. And I think with the 0 degree XLE truck on the Stingray Tail, you have a bit of a in-between situation, and I'm curious to test it now in warm weather, how that will perform compared to the 15 degree rear truck, and of course compared to a classic platform setup. I'm also curious to see how Viola would skate on this setup. Maybe she can pump faster than I do. I'm currently also not really trained, and that would also be interesting to see. I think what we can all agree on is that this has a lot of potential, and it's good that we're testing something new, and we give an opportunity for people with a platform setup to also skate a Topmount for once. It would be interesting to see how the Stingray Tail performs on you know, commercially mass-produced platforms. You know, something like the Bandito, which is short and I think for lighter riders comparably stiff. If you put the long Stingray Tail under, it's gonna flex more, and it's maybe gonna give you a pleasant flex for the Topmount. Of course, heavier riders cannot use this, because then it's gonna flex too much. So, you know, it gives you opportunities, and it needs some testing, but also it needs some testing in regards to durability. You know, like I always say, my boards are made to be durable, and they are made to have a flex pattern that doesn't wear out, you know. Like, they are designed around the limits of materials and around the limits of specific setups. So it might also be that something like a Bandito wouldn't be durable under a Stingray Tail. And yeah, I guess it's a bit of a difficult situation, you know. Tails like the TTA has also been known to be hard on equipment because it doesn't torsion that much and it doesn't steer that much, so it pushes torsion on boards. And when the boards are not reinforced the right way and have a core that can withstand something like torsion, then yeah, they're gonna break. So it could be a situation of a TTA that many boards will not be able to deal with the forces. And I guess time will tell, and of course I can't be responsible for products that are not made by myself. So I would handle it with care. But I'm still intrigued. And I'm excited what would come out of it. If you go narrow pumps, you go way faster. But you need the rebound, and I do have softer bushings in the front. Maybe I need to put in harder bushings there as well. Yeah, I need to rebound out of the rear. Ooh. Another thing that I quite like is so far the blast waves, the seismic blast waves. I skated them, you know, on uphill competitions, up the mountain Schauenslandkönig in Freiburg, I think over 700 meters of elevation with passages of 12%. And I skated it on the Aeresfort Classic. I don't know anymore how much elevation, like 500 meters maybe, with, you know, 7 to 8.5% of elevation. In general, for Norway, I quite like them because there's a lot more up and down. On the downhill, you're not as fast, which quite honestly gives me a bit more confidence. And on the uphill, it's just way easier. You also carry you carry less weight. So, yeah, and for pumping, I also really like them. They don't feel like they give as much rebound as something like the Alphas, especially since the rear wheel is rather narrow. Maybe something like the 75mm hotspots in the rear would be a cool alternative for, you know, a split duro, split wheel version. But yeah, maybe also when the rear steers a little bit, it's actually faster with a narrow wheel. So yeah, they seem really good and really fast for a Topmount setup.